In the HVAC industry, we use steel pipe during installation of much of the equipment we service and install. You will probably hear it called black steel, black iron, or black pipe. Black steel or black iron or black pipe is just slang referring to steel pipe with black paint on it, or no paint at all, as opposed to being galvanized. The use of galvanized pipe has largely been replaced with PVC. You may encounter it, though, in older homes. The steel pipe we use in the HVAC industry can come threaded or unthreaded. If it is threaded, it will have a thread protector on the end like the lower picture. Full lengths of steel pipe are 10 foot and 21 foot long. Pipe diameter is measured by nominal pipe size. It is the standard in North America. Europe uses a different standard. With steel pipe, it is measured by the inside diameter. The schedule of a pipe is based on the wall thickness of the pipe. There are other schedules, but the two most common schedules you will encounter are Schedule 40 and Schedule 80. Pipe is coated to prevent corrosion. Basically, the idea of corrosion protection in our industry comes down to keeping the steel of the pipes from being converted to iron oxide or rust. The main way in which this is done is to coat the pipe with something that prevents the oxidation reaction from occurring. The two most common examples of this are galvanizing and painting. When ordering lengths of pipe, you would tell them the number of pipes you want, the length of pipe, whether it is 10 foot or 21 foot, the rust protection, the diameter, the schedule, and whether you want it threaded or unthreaded, also known as plain. So you would say, I would like to order 23 lengths of 21 foot black 3/4 inch Schedule 40 threaded pipe. Pipe sizes can be confusing because the terminology relates to historical dimensions. For example, a 1/2 inch black steel pipe does not have any dimension that is a 1/2 inch. Initially, a 1/2 inch pipe did have an inner diameter of a 1/2 inch, but it also had very thick walls. As technology improved, thinner walls became possible, but the outside diameter stayed the same so it could mate with existing older pipe, increasing the inner diameter beyond 1/2 inch. Pipe size is specified with two numbers: a nominal pipe size, or NPS, for diameter based on inches, and a schedule for wall thickness. NPS is often incorrectly called national pipe size due to confusion with the national pipe thread. NPS bears little or no resemblance to the actual dimensions of a pipe. A 1-inch Schedule 40 pipe, for instance, has an actual outside diameter larger than 1 inch. It has a wall of 0.133 inches and an inner diameter of 1.049 inches. For all pipe sizes, the outside diameter remains relatively constant. The variations in wall thickness only affects the inside diameter. The higher the schedule number is, the thicker the wall is on the pipe. On the slide, the picture shows you the different dimensions of Schedule 40 pipe, also known as standard pipe, and Schedule 80 pipe, which is also known as extra heavy pipe. Galvanized pipes are actually steel pipes that are covered with a protective layer of zinc. The most common method is hot dip galvanization, in which parts are submerged in a bath of molten zinc. A clear coat is usually added. Galvanizing protects in two ways. It forms a coating of corrosion-resistant zinc, which prevents corrosive substances from reaching the more delicate metal. The zinc serves as a sacrificial anode so that even if the coating is scratched, the exposed steel will be protected by the remaining zinc. Over many years, zinc erodes from galvanized pipe. Corrosion can build up on the inside walls of the pipe. Corrosion will happen whether you use galvanized pipe or black painted pipes. Fittings are essential for joining black pipe together. There are two main joining methods for black pipe fittings: welding or threaded. You will most likely be exposed more to the threaded type unless you pursue a career on the industrial side of HVACR. Fittings are categorized by class. What is meant by class is that depending which class they are grouped in, the fittings can handle different pressures at different temperatures. Malleable fittings commonly used in the HVACR industry come in class 150 or 300. Class 150 fittings are used with Schedule 40 pipe. Class 300 fittings are used with Schedule 80 pipe. Cast iron fittings are grouped into classes 125 and 250. Class 125 fittings are for use with Schedule 40 pipe, and Class 250 fittings are for use with Schedule 80 pipe. Cast iron fittings are brittle and can be broken with a sharp blow. Malleable fittings are not easily broken. They are of a softer metal and tend to distort when hit by a sharp blow. On this slide, you can see some of the most common fittings that are used in the HVACR industry in the picture on the upper left. The upper and lower pictures on the right side of the slide is that of a Class 125T. The upper photo, and a Class 150T, the lower photo. The picture on the lower left is of some different nipples. A nipple is considered any pipe that is 1 inch long up to 12 inches long. A 1-inch nipple is referred to as a close nipple. It is actually a little longer than 1 inch. The length of the close nipple is dependent upon the diameter of the pipe. It will have no space between the threaded ends. A space or shoulder nipple's length is also dependent upon the diameter of the pipe. A space or shoulder nipple has a small area of unthreaded pipe between the two sides of the pipe. When you order a nipple, it is measured end to end, so it will include the threads in the overall length of the pipe. Let's say you needed to order a T like the one pictured on the upper left of the slide. T's are ordered by giving the largest run size by the smallest run size by branch size. Since the T is all the same size, you would order it first by specifying what type of rust protection you want, then you would tell them the class you want or schedule, and then the size. It does not have to be in that order, but you must include them all. So for that T, you would be ordering a galvanized 3/4 inch Class 150T, or you could say, I would like a 3/4 inch malleable T for Schedule 40. Knowing the class is important so that if you are ordering for a Schedule 80 pipe instead of a Schedule 40, you will know to make sure you get the correct fitting for the application. The upper center picture is of a black reducing T. So you would order that one, the largest run size by the smallest run size by the branch size. The picture on the upper right is of a reducer coupling. It would be ordered by the largest size followed by the smaller size. It is a 3/8 by 1/8 inch galvanized reducing coupling. The picture on the lower left is of a Street 90. To order that, you would say, I would like a black FTP by MPT Street 90. The picture in the lower center is of a bushing. To order, you would give them the larger outside dimension followed by the inside dimension, and then tell them it is a bushing. The picture on the lower right is a 90. All you have to say is, I would like a black 3/4 inch malleable 90. Cast fittings are ordered the same way. but you would specify that you wanted a cast fitting or give them the class number for the fitting. When you are joining pipe to a fitting, there are some steps you should follow. Number 1, you should inspect both male and female components prior to assembly. Threads should be free from mechanical damage, dirt, chips, and excess cutting oil. Next, you would apply a thread sealant. First, you would thoroughly mix the thread sealant prior to application. Apply an even coat to the male threads only. The best application is achieved with a brush. Next, you would join the pipe and fitting together. For sizes up to and including 2-inch pipe, wrench type makeup is considered 3 full turns past hand tight. Hand tight engagement for 1/2 inch through 2-inch threaded varies from 4.5 turns to 5 turns. For 2.5 through 4-inch sizes, wrench tight makeup is considered 2 full turns past hand tight. Hand tight engagement for 2.5 inch through 4-inch thread varies from 5.5 turns to 6 3/4 turns. The tapered thread seals by means of an interference fit between the male and female threads. This means that the pipe should never bottom out into the NPT fittings. The fittings should screw in only part way before binding. If a pipe screws all the way into the NPT fitting without binding, the threads are either misthreaded or the fitting is worn out. Pipe threads are different from machine screw and bolt threads. Machine screw and bolt threads are designated NC, National Coarse, and NF, National Fine. The biggest difference is the taper on pipe threads. Threaded pipe and fittings are threaded NPT, which stands for National Pipe Taper. The taper on NPT threads allows them to form a seal when torqued as the flanks of the threads compress against each other, as opposed to parallel straight thread fittings or compression fittings in which the threads merely hold the pieces together and do not provide the seal. As the thread body is tapered, a larger diameter keeps compressing into a smaller diameter and finally forms a seal. No clearance remains between the peaks and valleys of the threads because of the taper. NPT threads are also sometimes referred to as MIP, male iron pipe, which describes an external pipe thread end connection. Typically, it is threaded into an FIP end connection. FIP describes an internal pipe thread end connection versus the external MIP. FPT, female pipe thread, is the exact same as FIP. MPT is the exact same as MIP. The outside diameter of the male thread tapers down from the base, so the end of the fitting has a smaller outside diameter than the base of the fitting. The matching female thread has a larger outside diameter at the opening, tapering down as it goes in. If you look at the picture on the right, you see the picture of a threaded pipe. In the previous slide, we talked about tightening a pipe into a fitting. Here you can kind of see what they are talking about as far as hand tightening and wrench tightening. If you notice, total thread length includes complete threads, incomplete threads, and the washout thread. The wrenching allowance is the useful thread length for tightening past the hand tight position. When you're tightening a fitting onto a pipe, you want to be careful that you do not over tighten it, especially in a cast fitting, because you will risk actually cracking the fitting. Some of the equipment used to apply threads to pipe are shown on the slide. The upper left picture is a drop head die set. This can be used to hand thread a pipe, or it can be used with a power threader like the one pictured on the upper right. The picture on the lower left is much like the picture on the lower right. The difference between the two threaders is the one on the left must be hand oiled while threading, and it is easier to transport. The one on the right is larger and has a large oil reservoir and a pump to supply the oil as you thread.